Hey, how's it going, everyone? This is Dominick with the Comic Book Report YouTube channel, over here doing another guest review for organicpricedbooks.com. And today I'm back in the world of X-Men with this oversized hardcover edition, not labeled an omnibus, not really sure why, but anyway, today we're talking about The Wedding of Cyclops and Phoenix. The issues in this volume were written by so many creators, but primarily Fabian Nicieza, Bob Harris, Roy Thomas, and more. Illustrated by many as well, but primarily Andy Kubert, Richard Bennett, Liam Sharp, and more. The comics in this volume were published by Marvel Comics beginning in around 1993. The volume itself collects X-Men, that 1991 series, issues 26 through 35, Avengers, issues 368 and 369, Avengers West Coast, issue 101, Uncanny X-Men, issues 307 through 310, Cable, issues 6 through 8, X-Men Unlimited, issue 3, Uncanny X-Men Annual, issue 18, X-Men The Wedding Album, What If, issue 60, Adventures of Cyclops and Phoenix, issues 1 through 4, and material from Marvel Valentine's Special. This is an oversized hardcover edition with glossy print paper stock, a beautiful sewn binding, and a total of 832 pages. As far as the front cover of this dust jacket goes, we have a beautiful wedding photo here with Cyclops and Phoenix, Scott Summers and Jean Grey. Absolutely love it. I think it's such a striking cover. I can think of no better cover for this hardcover collection, honestly. Beautifully reproduced here, a really just great image from the comic. As we get to the spine of this book, this is where your heart may sink. No, this is not currently a Marvel Omnibus edition. I do wonder someday if this gets reprinted again, if they'll just go ahead and brand it an omnibus and just tweak a few things. Because frankly, I can think of no reason why this isn't an omnibus. This is an oversized hardcover edition. It's the same size as an omnibus, collects about the same amount of issues you would expect from a decent sized omnibus. And while yes, this is about the wedding of Cyclops and Phoenix, it is so much more. This book is so packed with early 90s goodness over at the X-Men side. Can't wait to touch on that a little bit once we get to the story details. Relatively spoiler-free, of course, but anyway, as we transition away from the back cover, I do want to spend a moment to look at this dust jacket in greater detail one final time. This time I'll go ahead and show you the interior flaps as well. I'll spread it out for you so you again can see it at a glance, and then we'll look at the under the dust jacket hardback book itself. Yes, there's a bit of a print on here, but unfortunately there's not a ton of art. I think you could have really done something with this book as far as the print. I would have loved to see like a wraparound image. Instead, we do get a beautiful kind of snippet of that wedding photo with Scott Summers and Jean Grey and kind of a black and white. And overall, it really does feel like a wedding album. It feels like a scrapbook in many ways. So I guess that's the vibe they're going for under the dust jacket. It is kind of that off, I don't know, pink color. I'm not really sure what color that is. But overall, you know, it's really well put together. It feels like you're looking at a wedding album as far as the hardback book itself. I do think this was really well made by Marvel. A really wonderful oversized hardcover book. And after I'm finished spreading this out for all of you, I did want to spend a moment with this collection to show you the binding I'm talking about here. This is a sewn binding, those beautiful glossy pages. This is my favorite kind of scenario, if I'm honest with you. The binding is so good, the pages lay down almost completely flat. I noticed very little gutter loss in this collection. Frankly, I don't think they make omnibuses binding even this good these days. So really just a really well-made collection here. Absolutely love it. Like I said, if it had that Marvel Omnibus logo on the spine, well, frankly, that's the only improvement to this collection I can think of. Diving into the collection proper, we have the cover page, a little like foreword. Oh, okay, that's one more alteration I would have made. I would have loved to see a table of contents or a better kind of mapping of the issues in this book here. But other than that, we jump right into the collection, and we start with this really epic Avengers X-Men crossover. I think it's called Blood Ties. It's a really fascinating story. I'm not going to do too many spoilers in this review, but it's a really good, like, early 90s Avengers X-Men crossover. It's fun to see the tension between the teams, all the character roster we get for this event. event, and just everything that happens. It's a ton of fun. This is a period of the X-Men, though, where we don't really have Wolverine involved, and for a book called Cyclops and Phoenix, there are issues or portions of it that they're really not involved at all. So we do get a wide range of X-Men content in this book. Like I said, it dabbles with Avengers. Pretty soon you'll see we dabble in issues of Cable, and I really, really like it. This is a period of X-Men I never had the opportunity to read prior to getting this hardcover for the most part, and I loved my time with this book. Not only do we have the titular wedding of Cyclops and Phoenix, which, yes, is honestly pretty good. I had all the feels. I was so excited to read that issue. We have a great mini-series toward the back of this book with Cyclops and Phoenix and Cable, and that's all I'll really say about that, but it's fantastic. In addition to these three characters I've already named, we also have some really good character moments with mutants like Gambit, Rogue, Psylocke, and Sabretooth. I think that those are all really big standouts in this collection overall. We get several great issues or moments of character just depth and just detail on these characters I've named, and honestly, these are some of my favorite mutants that I always loved digging a little deeper with, so I cherished these issues. They were really, really great. For the most part as well, the art is pretty consistent throughout. We do change hands a few times with both writers and artists, but really there is kind of a unified vision or voice with this collection, I'd say, overall, and I thoroughly enjoyed that. Fabian Nicieza does a lot of the writing in this book, and it's some of my favorite of his I've had the pleasure of reading, although I am admittedly a fan, but this is just a superb collection. I loved digging deeper into this period of Cyclops and Phoenix's life. I really enjoyed reading all the stuff on Gambit in here, and Psylocke in particular. Psylocke's a character that's always really fascinated me, just kind of the whole background there with Betsy Braddock and Quanon, and honestly we get a little bit more revelation and detail on that whole setup in these issues. We have some really just frighteningly awesome appearances by Sabretooth, which I thought were a lot of fun. Overall, again, just a really intense collection of great X-Men in the 90s. I know I've started some of the earlier Claremont era and have really enjoyed that. I've read obviously later collections, but this period is one I've still rarely explored, and honestly, I'm ready for more from this period because I devoured this book. I think cover to cover, we have so many great storylines throughout the book. There are some subplots we get followed up throughout the book as well, but it's great. And what I enjoyed about it is I think when you read the title, if you knew nothing else about this collection, you might be inclined to think this is mostly about Cyclops and Phoenix. And yes, while they are very prominent, we get so many other X-Men in this book that get kind of equal limelight. They get equal center stage time, and I enjoyed that. And what I like too is that this book shuffles kind of the issue types every so often, which really kept the book feeling fresh. Like, I'd read a lot about Cyclops and Phoenix, and then we'd have a whole stretch talking about Psylocke. Then we'd have a whole couple issues on, like, Gambit and Sabretooth. And, you know, we have other mutants in there as well, obviously. But these are some of the heavy hitters, and we really followed a lot of these characters primarily in the different issues. But I like that we got a lot of variety in this book. I really think that that was one of the strengths of this collection, and something that really makes it stand aside as something truly memorable. This is absolutely a collection I could recommend to X-Men fans out there. Even if you're a contemporary and more modern X-Men fan, I think if you enjoy some of these characters, you'll enjoy this collection. Like I said, I've read older X-Men stuff as well, but this cold period for me was a bit of a blank space I didn't know a ton about. And with X-Men, I'm always a bit nervous where to jump in, because I always feel like I'm going to lose out on a ton of continuity, or I'm going to be kind of asking so many questions. So I kind of entered into this collection with a bit of trepidation, but I feel like for the most part, if you're aware of these characters, like me, you can pick up this hardcover and just enjoy it cover to cover. There are a few things that obviously you'll want to know about, and the book does a pretty good job of filling it in. This is directly after and during the period where the legacy virus was a really big thing. So if you know nothing about that, this collection will help you fill in some details, but obviously there are some previous collections of X-Men that would be helpful. But I do think that this is still a fairly accessible collection, and honestly, I really enjoyed it. Like any good omnibus, or in this case oversized hardcover edition, we also have a generous amount of extras at the back of this book, which I was delighted to see. We not only got a lot of great kind of cover art and different promotional images, we had just some different written blurbs or excerpts here at the back. We had just full pages of the trading card stuff. There really is just a tremendous wealth of extras at the back of this book. If you're an X-Men fan like me, if you enjoy comic book history, seeing all of these extras is just the cherry on top of an already fantastic X-Men book. And with that, this collection will start to come to a close. It's really a great book. I can't wait to do a fuller review on my own channel that'll have a bit of spoilers, so if you're interested in that, definitely come find my channel, The Comic Book Report. And if you're interested in this book, please don't forget to check out organicpricedbooks.com. Pick it up while it's still in print. Like I said, it's a fantastic collection. This is a piece of X-Men history I never got to until now, and I'm so happy I did. Really easy to read and just a ton of fun. I can't say that enough, although I've tried. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, have a good one.